Harlopy works here. I believe in the show SpongeBob SquarePants, the amount of clothing on the character indicates how content they are. Let's get into it.
Good grief, he's naked!
The basis of this theory comes from episode 41A of season 3 of SpongeBob SquarePants, entitled The Algae's Always Greener. In this episode, Plankton travels to an alternate universe in which he, now Mr. Plankton, is the owner of the Krusty Krab and is therefore very affluent. A very interesting thing to make note of is that he, unlike his usual appearance, is now fully clothed, reflecting his affluence in being the owner of the Krusty Krab. However, Mr. Krabs, now called Krabs, has taken his place as the Krabby Patty formula thief and is now fully naked, displaying that he is now very unfortunate as Plankton is usually depicted as being. Yes, clothing equals content. I think the amount of articles of clothing each character wears in their key designs indicate how content they are and their sort of life cycle loop that they are placed in within the show. So when talking about this, we're only going to talk about the main cast because I think going outside of that will fluctuate things wildly. So for this, we're just going to go over SpongeBob, Patrick, Squidward, Sandy, Mr. Krabs, Plankton, and Pearl. Also Mrs. Puff, going from the most content characters in this group to the least content characters in this group.
Come closer. I need.
What do you need?
A tailor. Because I rip our pants! Ah! Hi, how are you?
So starting with the complete characters, first let's go to our main character, SpongeBob SquarePants. SpongeBob has an entire ensemble of clothing which reflect how content he is as a character. SpongeBob is a fry cook that works at the Krusty Krab. He is an accomplished fry cook and a respected member of his community and a renowned fry cook across the entire city of Bikini Bottom. He has a menagerie of hobbies that he enjoys with various friends and is pretty much content in every adventure that he embarks on. Even when he is put down or treated like a child, this doesn't last for long because he just simply bounces back. Eugene Harold Krabs, or Mr. Krabs, is the owner of the fast food restaurant, the Krusty Krab in Bikini Bottom. He is the boss of both SpongeBob and Squidward. He is a very accomplished character as he seemingly owns the only burger joint in town that serves edible food, as the Chum Bucket is not a viable option. In saying that, he is apparently very well off and very wealthy because his business seems to be always booming in a variety of episodes of the show. In reflection of that, he does have a full ensemble of clothing, a shirt, pants, and a belt. Pearl Krabs, and I did not know her last name was Krabs, but that makes sense as she is Mr. Krabs' daughter. She is also one of the few mammal characters in the show, and like her father, she has a full ensemble of clothing. This reflects that she is, too, very well off, benefiting from the riches of her father's business. She is often depicted with a cheerleading-like outfit with white boots. Next up is Mrs. Puff, as she is an accomplished character who is, for the most part, content, as she does own her own boarding school and has graduated many students. The only exception and the only blunder in her whole sort of character loop is SpongeBob. But overall, she is content, and in being content, she has a full ensemble of clothing. Lastly, we have Sandy Cheeks. I consider her the most content character, making her the most complete character because she is the only member of the main cast with 2 key designs. One could consider this just being a matter of circumstance due to the unique situation Sandy finds herself in, a land mammal living under the ocean. However, even though she does have a design for inside her tree dome and outside of her tree dome, I think this is to reflect how content she is as a character within her character loop, because when other land mammals come to Bikini Bottom to visit or for some sort of a special episode, they only have one key design. They are not given a suit like Sandy Cheeks. So I think this is to represent all the accomplishments Sandy has where other characters simply do not. She is an accomplished oceanographer, she is an accomplished astronaut, and she's an accomplished martial artist, amongst many other things.
Is this the Krusty Krab?
No, this is Patrick.
Belongs in the trash!
Of the partially content characters, first up we have Patrick Star, SpongeBob's best friend. I call him partially content, obviously because he's only wearing swimming trunks in his key design. However, another reason why is because over several times in the show, it is shown that he has a very, very, very high degree of intelligence. However, various inhibitors keep him from reaching this true potential all the time, making him a sort of incomplete character in his character loop, mostly only dependent on SpongeBob to have fun with and to do various hobbies with. And it's been mentioned several times before that he has no actual permanent job. He's always just flung into various situations depending on the theme of the episode. Next up for partially content characters, we have Squidward Tentacles, neighbor to both SpongeBob and Patrick. He could be seen as an exact opposite to Patrick, as Patrick is only depicted wearing pants, where Squidward is only depicted wearing a shirt in his key design. He, unlike Patrick, has a permanent job at the Krusty Krab as their cashier. However, it's often depicted that he is dissatisfied with this position. Squidward fancies himself a practitioner of the arts, though maybe due to him playing a wind instrument under the ocean and having a particular art style that's not very favored amongst those who view it, he is mostly depicted as a failed artist or a bad artist, which is why he is not a content character.
Think this is funny? In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
Well, Mr. Funny Man, is this how you get your sick kicks?
What? It's just an ordinary crabby. Oh my goodness!
Lastly, for the least content character in the main cast, we have Plankton. As mentioned before, he is a failed character in every way imaginable, and to reflect that, he is butt naked, no clothing. We see that he does own a business called the Chum Bucket, which is across the street from the Krusty Krab. However, it has no customers and makes no money. It's also shown that he is living in the establishment, whereas Mr. Krabs, on the flip, has a home away from the Krusty Krab. It's often depicted that Plankton is highly intelligent, though has nothing to show for it, often claiming that he's been to college, though has no business sense to actually run the business that he is trying to achieve in. It's also obvious that he has no culinary talent or no way to procure any culinary talent, unlike Mr. Krabs, because he has no money to pay anyone. Also, it's depicted that he has no company who often spends time with him outside of the main cast other than his robot wife, Karen. So the only things that keep him company are those of his own creation, making him a mostly failed character in every respect. He has no hobbies other than stealing from others, and he is often a failure at that as well. If you like stuff like this, please feel free to check out my YouTube channel, Pauly P Works. And if you like what you see, I would appreciate your subscription. Thank you so much. See you next time.